Okay, welcome. We're here at Jacksonville University, and this is our Military Orientation Transition Series. This is number 3 in our series, and today is a faculty panel. And we have current and new veteran students in our audience that are going to ask questions. But I'd like to start it off by having each faculty member introduce themselves and their department, and then give us a brief overview of what they're passionate about, whether it's their research or their clinicals or their teaching here at JU, or what is their passion. So let's start it off with Megan.
Okay. My name is Megan Phillips. I'm a new faculty member, just started this July. I'm in the kinesiology department. By degree, I'm a biomedical engineer. And so I'm new, but I can tell you that my research passion is for my research to somehow benefit the U.S. military warfighter. All my graduate research had to do with dismounted warfighters, and now I'm trying to develop a line, since we're geographically close to naval bases and aviators, looking at something with naval aviators and looking at whole body vibration.
A little bit about military background too.
My military background is I was an ROTC graduate from the University of Florida, so that's how I entered the Navy. And then I was an active duty surface warfare officer since I had an undergrad degree in engineering. After I was qualified with my warfare pin, I did a lateral transfer into civil engineer corps, so then I did military construction. And then transitioned out, used the GI Bill, went back and got my PhD. And now I'm here.
We're so happy to have you. Thank you, Megan. And we'll take Dean Hazard next. You just want to introduce yourself and your department and what you're passionate about.
My passions. Okay, excuse me coming in late. I should have checked the number of the room that I was supposed to before coming. A little bit of advice for you all. Anyway, I'm the Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences. I have degrees in English and Romance Studies from Johns Hopkins and Duke University. I've been here for some 20-odd years. What is my passion? One thing I perhaps should mention is administration is not one of my passions. And I have actually resigned my position as dean. This is my last year. I want to go back to the classroom and I want to write again. I want to go back to doing the things that got me interested in this profession to begin with, which is teaching, frankly. I mean, teaching is my passion. I grew up abroad. I was born in Cuba, raised in Mexico. Lived in the States now probably for some, again, 20-odd years or so. Child of the 60s, so haven't known a whole bunch of veterans in my life. I'm happy to tell you why that is, but you all know about the 60s, I'm sure, and the Vietnam War, so on. But certainly I respect and appreciate what you all have done, and I will just say one other thing. We're starting a program this summer for veterans who want to return to school, to college studies, and we are setting up a program sponsored by the nonprofit For Your Honor that will give the students, give the vets some skills that will prepare them for college. Skills in writing and mathematics, computing skills, study skills. It's, for a variety of reasons perhaps, and I don't know whether you all share this as well, but these are folks that maybe were apprehensive about higher ed or have, for one reason or another, didn't get involved in higher ed, and we're going to try to prepare them in this 2-month program that we're going to be running here at JU every summer, and hope afterwards that the veterans of the program feel prepared to come to college, and we hope JU, of course, but wherever. So that's one thing that I'm sponsoring, that the College of Arts and Sciences is sponsoring for this summer. So just to let you all know. But anyway, that's about it. Open to any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Ross?
Hi, I'm Ross Stevenson, teach in the School of Aviation. My background, I was in the Marine Corps for 20 years, mostly stationed overseas in Japan, was a CH-46 helicopter pilot, and flew King Airs also, and retired in 2008, and at that time I wanted to go into the aviation industry, but due to the first bout of quantitative easing, the industry wasn't that great, but there was a war going on, so I went over and flew intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance flights over in Iraq and Afghanistan for 4.5 years, and then was fortunate enough to get a position teaching here back in January of 2013, and I love it here. What's not to love? It's a great place. I currently, well, I got my bachelor's in economics and finance at Houston Baptist University. While I was on active duty, I took advantage of the tuition assistance program and got my master's in economics. And then now I have transferred my original GI Montgomery bill into the post 9/11 bill, and I'm on my last course in a PhD program with Embry-Riddle, PhD in aviation operations. Very passionate about drones right now. I can say drones. It used to be UAV, but FAA has kind of warmed up to calling them drones again. Just the applications are many, for good and bad. I just got off a phone with a midshipman that's now a captain in the Marine Corps. I was the officer rep for the trap and skeet team at the Naval Academy my last few years on active duty, and he just gave me a call 20 minutes ago just to say hey, and he was telling me that ISIS is using those Phantom quadcopters for reconnaissance and for delivery of IEDs. So, you know, they can be used for good or bad. But I'm very passionate about UAVs right now. That's going to be my dissertation topic. We actually have, we're starting a UAV program here in the School of Aviation. Got a collaborative study with the Marine Sciences and the Geography Department, using these to create 3D models of oyster beds in the tidal areas to gauge whether they're getting bigger or smaller, and to assist the state of Florida in determining if they should open them up for harvesting again. So that's me.
Okay, so my name's Mike Mancaro, and I come to JU from the Navy. I was in the Navy for 20 years. I was an enlisted guy throughout my whole time in the Navy. I was an electrician's mate. And my first tour, I worked on Vietnam-era aircraft, Phantoms, F-4 Phantoms, and A-4 Skyhawks. Actually took a ride in the Skyhawk and threw up. But
So you're the one.
yeah. Yeah. But I thought I was special. I was certificated as a pilot at the time, and the guy that took me up said, you know, you need to bring a bag. I'm like, I fly all the time. I'm not worried about it. And but anyway, didn't work out for me. So, but after that, I went to flight engineer school for P3s, and was a flight engineer on P3s for the next 17 years or so. And that was a fantastic job. We did maritime surveillance, intelligence gathering, spent some time in the Persian Gulf during Desert Storm, and just a fantastic job. I was kind of drawn into teaching from my experiences as a flight engineer because, you know, shore duty and instructor duty and all that stuff. I served as an in-flight and simulator and classroom instructor at the Flight Engineer School, which is here in Jacksonville, VP30. And that's where I started to develop my interest and kind of passion for teaching, you know. Eventually, I was the lead enlisted guy for the school. The training senior chief was my last tour of duty here, and so that kind of drew me into teaching. I probably went to school longer than any person that I've ever known. People in my family tend to do things the hard way. I went to Ball State University right out of high school, and they asked me to leave. But eventually, I got better, and I went to school throughout my entire career. Basically, there was very little time where I wasn't a student. So it took me 20 years to get a bachelor's degree, and almost 20 years. I came to JU from my last tour and worked. I have a master's degree from JU, and I got hired on as a visiting assistant. Basically, the department was desperate because several people left, and they knew that I needed a job right when I got out of the service. So I came over, and I wanted to make it so that they would ask me to stay. So eventually they did. They said, you know, you got to get a PhD. So I worked full-time here and went to Florida State. So my PhD is from Florida State. And so I teach mathematics. My passion is teaching, and my passion is also kind of student engagement. And I'm the faculty advisor for the Outing Club. If you don't know about the Outing Club, I invite you to go to Dolphin Link and check it out. We do backpacking trips, and we just started last October. We're not even a year old. But it's an active group, and we're trying to be more active and more visible on campus. We've done things like we had a wilderness first responder course in the first couple of weeks of May. The School of Nursing was gracious enough to allow us to come over there. And we had a guy come from Colorado, and we certified some people as wilderness first responders. We're going to try to do that again, along with some other things. I would like to see outdoor programming grow on the campus. And so this is kind of where I am right now. I'm not a researcher, I'm a teacher, and I'm kind of an advocate for students. I think I covered everything. Thank you.
My turn? Matt Toohey, I'm the director of the School of Aviation. A little bit about my background. I was one of the first 16 students that started the Navy ROTC program here at JU back a million years ago. Graduated from JU, obviously, and then served 27 years in the Navy. Naval flight officer, flew S-3As and B Vikings. Luckiest guy on the planet, got to command a squadron, command a couple of ships, went to the Pentagon, and when it was time to come do something else, came back here as the director of aeronautics back in 2001. Was here for about three and a half years. Moved on to business, had a couple of different things in business, but always stayed connected. Was the president of the Alumni Association here, was on the board of trustees for 3 years, and then when Dr. Merck left last summer, got lured back, but it wasn't much of an effort to lure me back, that's for sure. And now I've been back since October. I guess if you ask what I'm passionate about, it's JU, obviously. I think this is an absolutely spectacular place to get an education. I would never have been able to do what I did without the foundation I got here. And the second one is veterans. My last careers before I came back, for the last 4 or 5 years, have been very involved with General Fleming in his previous life at Deutsche Bank when I was with Blue Cross, setting up and trying to get programs for veterans to be able to get jobs and the education that you guys have so richly earned and deserved based on your service to our country. So now, again, I'm the luckiest guy in the world. I get to talk to college students about airplanes all day and be involved with great people like you as you pursue the next chapter in your lives. That's me.
Dr. Young?
I'm Sam Young. Unlike the colleagues that are here with me, I'm really not a faculty member, but for some reason, I get put on this list because I tutor some pathophysiology from time to time for some of the nursing students. I am an old Army guy. I got my initial, I was ROTC in college, University of Georgia, I'm sorry, but actually graduated, one of the few, but we...
One of the few to graduate from Georgia?
Went to the Defense Department Medical School. I'm a family practitioner. Spent about 24 years in the Army, active duty, and after that worked for the Army right afterwards as a family physician for about 7 years. Had numerous tours overseas, Southeast Texas, Southwest Asia, all fun stuff. I tell you, the best job I ever had, though, was actually was where I was assigned to the 1st Armored Division, and had the privilege of being a company commander during the of a medical company during the Gulf War with 1st Armored. And I love the desert. My passion, I think, is being out in a open space, you know, in a tent somewhere. I enjoy that. But after the Army, there was a transition that was extremely difficult for me, and it was going from active duty and then straight working for the Army after that, but then that transition to civilian life afterwards was a little bit tough, I think, personally, for me. And so what my passion is now, I'm actually an advisor in the School of Nursing for the veterans that are in the BSN program. My passion is actually trying to help veterans make that transition from military life to civilian life a little bit better. And if there's 2 areas here at JU that I'm very passionate about, it actually is 2 areas where our veterans get a lot of support. One is the Tutoring and Learning Center, and if you don't know about that one already, it's actually called the Student Success Center now. They're over in the library. They do a tremendous job. There is a wonderful veteran over there as well who will embrace you and make sure that you're on the right track. And the other is the Student Counseling Center. I think a lot of our veterans get a lot of benefits specifically from that as well. And some of the resources from the grant that we have to support veterans right now are going to those areas. So I think that's me. This is my boss. So, yeah.
If I may add one center to the centers that you should feel free to visit, and I would encourage you to visit, it's the Writing Center. I don't know if anyone has spoken about
Yes,
that.
I'm sorry, I overlooked that.
The Writing Center, it's in the council building. It's you know, an excellent resource. I mean, it's been a while since many of you have perhaps done any formal writing or any writing for your classes, and you get lots of good help, and so I strongly recommend that you visit the Writing Center as well as Jody and the Counseling Center and the Tutoring Center.
Okay, I'm Lynette Kennison, and bringing Dr. Young Sam on board was gold, so we're really thrilled. Excellent tutor for our students. Pathophysiology, we never had one. But I teach in the School of Nursing. I graduated from the University of Colorado and was commissioned into the Navy right from school. Served in the Navy in Philadelphia, and from Philadelphia I actually moved down to Florida, Navy Reserves, after I got off of active duty. I was on active duty for 5 years. Came down to Florida and couldn't get a billet that paid money and didn't want to drill for free, so I jumped into the Army Guard. And I've been commissioned, I was commissioned for a total of 30 years. My last 2 years, I actually was pulled back onto active duty. First, I think, an only faculty that was mobilized for active duty at JU. And I went to Puerto Rico, treated soldiers for mental health problems that had been in Iraq. And then I went to the Pentagon to work under the Army Surgeon General and represented the Army developing the post-deployment health reassessment in 2005 that was fully implemented, because mental health is my passion, and trying to help our military who have been through some very difficult experiences that can lead to coping problems like post-traumatic stress, depression, anxiety, and the newest term, moral injury, which I think is a very interesting concept and certainly applies to a number of people. I'm still, I joined the faculty here in 2003, but left, no, 2000, yeah, I left in 2004 and 5, so I almost left immediately after I got here. And I have a grant that's for veterans in the School of Nursing to help them to be successful and complete our BSN program. So that's really an honor. On the side, I am the consultant for the Vet Center in town, which does a lot of good for our military. And I also have a private practice and treat people, and I'm the Friday person that treats people. So I love being here. I really am passionate about our Student Counseling Center and trying to make sure that we provide the best resources for them through the grant that we have, so that actually the veterans benefit, but our whole school is benefiting because we're adding more training to our counselors through the grant. That's who I am.
Well, thank you. We have quite a variety on our panel here from a variety of different departments, and I'd like to open it up to questions and see what we have. We have students on both sides of the room, so who'd like to start with a question? Come on.
Because we covered everything.
Well, I mean, the information that you guys put out, especially for the resources, is fantastic. I'm about to start the EMBA program, and I have taken advantage of Student Counseling Center because my transition has been a little challenging. And one of the reasons why I'm here is to learn more about the resources, but you guys did do a great job in covering the resources, especially the writing center like you mentioned. So I really appreciate you guys being here because it's really good information. I wish there was more students available to take advantage of this.
I'll ask a question.
Okay.
Yes. And thank you, Dr. Hazard, for being here. Curious from your vantage point, not having a military background, what is your biggest challenge in helping veterans become successful in the classroom?
Well, that's a tough one, Mike. My greatest challenge, I guess, is ensuring that the veterans are comfortable enough within an academic setting to offer their unique and rich points of view. There's a bit of hesitancy I find in because you're older, you're more experienced, you certainly have an experience which is very different from that of most 18-year-olds or 19-year-olds, 20-year-olds, and so on. So I guess that's my greatest challenge is to encourage you to feel confident enough and comfortable enough within the setting, and that's certainly the job of the professor to a great extent, to be able to offer your unique perspectives, which are enriching to the classroom experience, to the subject matter. I mean, these are great opportunities for your colleagues, your fellow undergraduates, if you will, that are sitting in the classroom with you, because they're experiencing or able to experience secondhand, if you will, the kinds of opportunities and experiences that you had. So that's the greatest challenge. I would hope that you all would feel comfortable enough within this setting to be able to offer, and I would hope that I would like to know if professors don't make you comfortable enough being a dean. I'd like to encourage them to do so. But anyway, does that answer your question, Mike? I mean,
Yeah,
you think?
and Dr. Hazard also is very much involved in the Navy ROTC program because Captain Carnes academically reports to Dean Hazard, so he's very supportive. And one other thing I would add, and then Dean Hazard and I've talked about this quite a bit, a couple things we're doing to educate the faculty. One is we're going to put a Military 101 on the intranet site, so faculty and staff can look and know something about Military 101. We've also found something called Green Zone training, which is training that has been done at a number of other universities, where it's about an hour and a half of time, kind of like Military 101 going through. Dr. Kennison has done some of this. We're going to adopt that to try to get that both faculty and staff to learn more, because when I first met Dr. Hazard, one of the things we talked about, he said, I want to help the veterans be successful, but not having a military background, I perhaps don't know everything. And so what we want to do is give them some military knowledge, understanding of things. So we're going to be proactive in providing that, and I found the faculty and the staff have been tremendous in supporting. And as Dr. Hazard said, it's also opening up to them, so to let them know what the challenges are.
Yeah, the faculty is really the faculty in the arts and sciences anyway, and I'm sure in all the areas, is really very, you're a resource that is very valuable in many ways. I mean, you're much more than a resource, but you're also a resource that's very valuable. Your experiences are very valuable to classroom discussions and to what we're trying to teach. So I hope you feel that way, and I hope you're able to express yourselves freely.
Another point about today's faculty panel is, especially for the newer students, that faculty, you will have a faculty advisor now that you're in your major, and how important and key they are. Maybe some of the representatives can talk about that. And also some mentoring. So you may mentor with your faculty advisor, but you can also mentor with faculty in other fields for other reasons. Maybe they are veterans or not.
Is this a formal mentoring program? Is it?
No, well, not formal as in a process, but we are working towards some peer-to-peer mentoring, and also a lot of faculty do mentor with students in an informal way. But as a faculty advisor, the process is very formal. But get to know your faculty advisor. I don't know if anybody wants to address this. How
One
important
thing
it
is, come see us. I mean, that sometimes is the roadblock, because we do want to be there. We want to facilitate and iron out any problems that you're having. I think the fact that Sam does tutoring, for some of our students has been really an open door type of thing, but we invite students to come in. And sometimes I've found out that they are having some real problems somewhere that I wish they would have contacted me sooner. I could have connected them to someone else to learn about it, or study in a different way, or smooth the paths, or talk to the faculty member. So advisors, we really take it seriously. And we want to be there before the big crisis hits.
Yeah, kind of another thing is too, if you're not engaged with some campus organization, you should be, because not only will you be amongst other like-minded students, but they all have faculty advisors, and you'll get to know the advisors. And you should be the leaders. You should lead some of these organizations. You have experience with leadership, and some of the younger students mean well, but they just don't have what you have, and we can use your help with these organizations.
And one other thing, the last time I was here, the provost was Dr. Gary Moore, and one of his programs he would have the faculty and administration read books, and then we'd get together and discuss them, that kind of stuff. And one book was about, Douglas is smiling, you remember that. But one of the books talked about success in college. And the thing that struck me was, the advice in this book was pretty good, but the thing that struck me was, you should get to know one professor a year, And what struck me was that, yeah, that might apply at the University of Florida, but here you're going to get to know every one of your professors every year. I came back after 27 years, and not only were there professors that were still teaching from when I was here the first time, I knew 4 or 5 of them very, very well after 27 years, and I didn't even have them all in class. I just knew them from being on campus, and they remembered me. So, I mean, the advice that people, and I give people all the time, if you're coming to JU to be anonymous, you're misinformed, because you can't be, we're too small. But if you're trying to be, you're also missing out on what makes JU, JU, And again, over the years, people say, well, it's flight training thing, we don't want to turn into Embry-Riddle. And my response is, you're right, because every student we have went and looked at Riddle and came here instead. And there's something about JU that you've got to reach out and take, and it's going to be harder for you guys because you are older. You don't seem to fit the mold of your typical college student and that kind of stuff. But as Mike said, pick an organization, pick an activity, get involved in something other than just going to school and going home. Hard to do for people with families, but even if it's as simple as just coming to a football game or going to the basketball game or something like that, participate in homecoming. Yeah, use all the professional resources that we have, the Writing Center, the Counseling Center, and the Success Center, and all the centers. But if you don't participate in some of the other things that qualify as the university experience, you're really missing something.
Yeah, that's excellent advice.
I would agree.
And again, get to know your professors. I mean, this is a unique experience. Go to visit your professor, go to office hours. We're teachers. We're interested in sharing your experience. We're interested in conversing with you and getting to know you. Get to know your professors. We say that all the time to 18-year-olds when they first come here, and I don't know whom it's harder to convince, but it's essential, and it's very rewarding and very important.
This is my third year as a student here. I found the professors to be very accommodating from the get-go. As soon as I walked in the door here as a new sports business major. And obviously I don't fit the typical mold of 18 and 21-year-old college student, and I could sense that when I first walked into the classroom. But I think as I went through some of the same classes with the same 18 and 21-year-old students, and they got to know me as an individual, not just the guy with the gray hair sitting over there, who is he? That they would gravitate towards me for group projects and so forth. So I was kind of driving those trains there, and they realized that, hey, the old guy's going to get this done for us, and he's going to help in this group, and he's not going to let us fail. So I have this core group of younger students that are, maybe I am mentoring them in a way.
Sure.
But it's kind of neat how that relationship has moved forward with all these younger students over the 3 years I've been here.
Yeah, that is true. And, as Master Chief, I'm retired chief. I think that carries on from what we did in the Navy. I didn't know until I got here. First, I had to find myself. I finally did that. I got kids calling me all the time. Hey, Mike. Hey. Or I get a text. We got a test tomorrow, or is that homework? And they'll call me because they want to know something. They know I will give them the right answer. And just like you said, Matt, I talked to these guys last week about being involved. Because before I retired, I was told, don't come to school and be a student. And I didn't. And there's people who never even taught me. I can go around, hey, how you doing? Da, da, da. And even professors I have, if I got a question, I want to know because I am not trying to fail. So I'm going to go see that individual, hey, this is kicking my butt, how to do this, so on and so forth. And they will actually open the doors and help you out. So don't be afraid. I know when I first got here, I was a little hesitant because I'm trying to get to know who's who in the zoo. But once I got a chance to know who's who, it was like cakewalk. So don't stay in the shell. Don't stay in the SVA center all the time because you got to get out and about.
Is this an expression, who's who in the zoo? that I missed somewhere along the line? Is that where we are? All right.
It must have been, it is fairly descriptive.
I'm gonna steal it, I think. I'm gonna take it from you.
And just to expand on this, there are over 127 student clubs and organizations here on campus. For a small university, you've got a lot of diverse choices. The list goes on, and we have, you can come to me, you can go to the Student Solutions Center, you can go directly to Keith Becklin, who works with the student organizations, and find out what's for you.
And I would add also, by the end of October, we'll have a listing of all the faculty and staff veterans, and a little bit about their background, what service they were in, what civilian experience they've had, what their position is here, because we want to be able to leverage that. And maybe you have an interest in something in aviation, you have something in medicine, or just want to say that person, I'd like to just talk to them, because we feel like as faculty and staff veterans, feel like we want to give back to you, but the only way you can do that, besides if you happen to know someone, is to know broadly. We probably have 50 to 60 veterans in the faculty and staff. So by the end of next month, we'll have a list involved, and then you can use this however you want.
How can, questions from y'all, how can our faculty help you that are maybe in the transition, if you're just getting out of the military or changing schools and coming to a JU? What kind of questions do you have how the faculty can help you?
Well, I think it's the understanding, knowing, and I think they all pretty much hit on the head, is that we are coming from a different place. We do have that life experience, but we're also coming from an institution that is rigid, organized, structured, into a school environment that we haven't been to in a long period of time, and getting back that mentality of a college student where, okay, I need to do my own thing on my own time and make sure that these assignments get done. And, this is all after, after a 20-year military career or whatever, and now it's back to school and, okay, where do I go from here? The resources available is fantastic, but having that understanding when, a student shows up with some gray hair and is not as locked on for school as the school kids coming right out of high school, that we do need a little bit more, hey, are you getting this? Do you know where to go to get the help that you might need? So this, like I said, this panel is fantastic, and I wish more students are able to get out of this and take advantage of the video. So, but the understanding for the student who is coming in from a different place than the average high school student.
Yeah, it's interesting, it's something that just struck me when you were saying that we tend to focus on how you all are different from the other students. Well, let's turn that around a little bit. Let's take a look at how you all are exactly the same as the other students here. You mentioned you're coming from a structured environment. Well, if the parents are doing their jobs right, the young kids are coming from a structured environment too. This is the first time they're living away from home. This is the first time they're responsible for their own time management. They're the first time they're, as you say, they're the ones now that are also going through the same experience you are. I've got to organize myself to get my work done. I've got to, make sure I'm not staying out till 3 o'clock in the morning. All those things. I mean, there's this great similarity there. You feel apprehension because you feel like you don't fit in. I guarantee you, the straight stick freshmen coming in feel apprehension because they're facing a great unknown. And you can sit there and go through a lot of these things, and yeah, you guys are different, but you're also very much the same. And I think that's when that's one of the reasons I say, get involved in something other than just going to class, and you're going to learn that. As you said, Master, you're going to give them a lot, but they're going to give you a lot too. So make sure you absorb it, from both sides.
And I gotta go because I am involved in something else right now.
Well, there you go. The poster child for getting involved.
I might be late, but the Master Chief's number lady is contained elsewhere.
Everyone else is early.
Yeah. All right, thanks a lot. I appreciate you all coming out.
Anybody else?
How
Okay, here we go.
how do you as a faculty help springboard students for life after G, as far as networking, or how do you help students plan for that future success?
It's interesting, that kind of the answer you would have gotten 10 months ago is much different than the answer you'll get now. I think that one of the things that JU has really made an investment in and has decided that we're going to take something that was kind of an afterthought and make it world-class is our Career Development Center. A lot of effort has gone into improving that program, adding things to that program, and all those things that will help people after they leave JU. And General Fleming can jump in on this. He was the guy leading the effort, but Tony Higgs over there now has really got an entity that can be a resource for the future. Now, having said that, each one of you also has resources within your own departments. For the aviation students, we certainly help place people and do things. The nursing school does the same thing. The business, the accounting majors. I mean, there's a network of people that get involved. Each school has their own. Each college has their own advisory people. We've got a very active advisory council for the College of Business. I think nursing has the same, right? College Arts and Sciences, they've started having groups to get together, and those groups, and I know because I was a political science major when I was here, and political science major, have started to come together as an affinity group, to help the students and that sort of thing. I think the easy answer to your question is just define the need. let somebody know that you're interested in doing this, and you will be pointed in the right direction that is the right direction for you. You know, you're in the MBA program, so you know, the nursing program is probably not gonna do much for you. You know, and if you talk to Professor Kennison, she'll tell you who to talk to. You know, and I think that's the big thing, is just defining your requirement, or verbalizing your requirement, you'll get pointed in the right direction.
We developed something called career tracks, and we have, I might have mentioned it last week, we have 4 different ones. One's traditional students, one's student athletes, one's for international students, one's for military veterans. And by the first part of October, we'll be releasing that. And basically, it talks about the total commitment of the university to prepare you for a career. And obviously, you have great faculty. This really talks about some of the things with the different student success center things. And then also the specific things we're doing for veterans to help them be successful. This transition series is part of it. We're going to have, next semester, we're going to have Operation New Uniform come in and give a seminar on dressing and interviewing and things. And a lot of that is going to be specifically oriented toward the military veterans. Also next semester, we're going to have a reception with retired flag officers, retired senior non-commissioned officers who've made the transition to the civilian world, and just in an informal setting, just be able to talk to you, and you can get connections that way. So this career track, instead of having kind of here and there, we're going to have it all in one place, and you can know what you need and what you don't need. Just like Matt said, a lot of this is individualized, but we want to offer you literally a buffet of choices and to assist you doing that and help make you successful.
One thing that I need to get out there to make sure you understand. When I first got out of the military, it was very difficult for me. It took me years to kind of feel more than just dead in the water. And it wasn't because I had traumatic experiences or anything like that. It was just, I'm going from this part of my life to this part of my life. So if you're feeling kind of like that, don't worry, it'll be okay. My advice is, listen to what they're saying. If you concentrate on what you need to do, you go forward with your goals, keep your eye on your goals, work towards your goals, and the other stuff will take care of itself. It gets better. If you're feeling a little lost in the wilderness right now, don't worry, it'll be all right.
There's wilderness training. So.
Well, yeah. If you are lost in the wilderness, that's good too.
That's right. We have a club for that. There's an app for that.
Yeah, I guess one final note is internships. JU encourages you to take multiple, not just one, but as many internships as your major requires, and you can fit in. And I know kinesiology, I know all of the programs. The faculty will work with you.
So, remember what I'm saying, I've been here like 2 months. So
You're the expert.
All right. So I can tell you within the kinesiology department, there is a requirement for experiential learning. And so whether or not it's an internship or whether or not it's undergrad research. So there's ways to get involved, is that specifically?
Yeah.
But this year I cannot be your advisor because as a first year faculty, I'm not an advisor to anyone. But it doesn't mean you can't come talk to me, but I can't be officially anyone's advisor.
Can I just mention, for the Student Counseling Center, you don't have to have a mental illness type of problem. They also have. They are there to enhance who you are and enhance your coping skills. And one of the things they do is the HeartMath program, which was actually a program that was utilized for the nurses in all the emergency departments through the Baptist Health System. And that was to help them be more effective in the stress that they're dealing with in the ED. So we've trained this, Kyle Fessenden, who's one of the counselors there, to implement that program for all of you as targets. So it costs a bit of money to bring that training in, and it's just to enhance your skills, calm things down, make you a better student. So you might learn things just to enhance what you're doing if you go to the Student Counseling Center.
Just 2 quick parting shots. One is, how many of you are actually new? Anybody new? Okay. Yeah, and I used to tell people this when I was in, being new, you see things that we don't see. You know, we're in the trees. I mean, we see, you're the ones that are coming in, kind of giving the 10,000-foot view for a while. After you've been here for a while, you're just like us. But as you use your newness, use your powers for good, you know. If you see something that doesn't make sense to you, or you really think, you know, can be improved, or you have a question about, ask somebody, you know, because you'll help improve the process. And I think that, you know, after a while, it's a skill you're gonna lose, but, you know, while you've got it, use it. And the second thing is, and I'll tell you that, you know, the School of Aviation office is right across the hall. If you ever have a problem that you can't get solved someplace, come talk to Captain Willett or myself, and we will help you get in the right direction. And it's easy for me to say that, we're right across the hall, you know where we are. However, the nice thing about JU is I guarantee you will get the same response if you walk into the nursing office, or the College of Arts and Sciences, or, you know, over at Botts Hall for the, you know, athletics. I mean, you just gotta go ask. You know, if you're wandering around lost and you don't ask, and, you know, shame on you.